We were quoted $20,300 to replace 10 windows in our newly bought old home. But with this DIY window restoration hack, we've been able to restore them for under $200 each. If you love saving money, DIY hacks, or you have some old windows in your house that you feel you could get a little bit more life out of before you replace them, then stick around and I'll show you exactly how I did this, saving over $1,800 per window. So first I'm going to start with removing the old window molding. A good idea is to score the joint with a utility knife before you give it a hit. So here I'm just using a 100mm brick chisel. You can actually get a proper tool for this. You're just going to use that same technique the whole way around the window. Warning, what you find behind the window, it can't be unseen. This is a lot of poo. The next stage is to get the old paint off. As you can see, the paint on this window is not good at all. I'm just using a 5-in-1 tool and a heat gun, just heating it up and then coming through with the scraper. You'll find a good rhythm after a while. Next we come through with our orbital sander. I've found this Bosch one to be the best. It's the GEX 125 1AE 250 watt. If you're living in the house while doing this, you're going to end up in a wall with dust. The dust catcher in this one is probably the best one I've used so far. Not a lot of sanding here, we're just trying to get it smooth enough for our next part. As you can see here, I had a stubborn bit of paint. I just went over with the sander and then I came back over the heat gun and scraper and that worked perfectly. Removing the window is just as easy as pushing up and then pulling out. Removing the fly screen is the same. I've just made a hole in it first and that way I could get in. So here I've already scraped the paint off the window and then I'm coming through with just some 2000 grit sandpaper just to get it all sanded back. This will make the paint job at the end look a lot smoother. I'm using Dulux Duramax as my primer. Don't go crazy with this, you just need a thin layer of primer on the window. Next you're just going to pull out the rubber from your fly screen and then the fly screen will just come straight out. You're just going to do the same primer process as you did before. Everything is all primed now. We're just going to come through with our Duramax top coat paint. So with the Dulux Duramax, I do 2 coats for this. I've found that 2 even coats brings out a flawless finish. As you could see before, I needed to replace my fly screen as well. This is quite easy. You just lay the new piece of fly screen over your old screen, bring in your rubber piece, use your tool, and go around the whole screen. Then you come through with your utility knife. You're going to use the backside edge and cut along there. That will cut it all perfectly. Now that that's done, it's time to start installing. We're now going to mark where our window molding goes. I've simply cut in a 7mm slit in both ends of my old license. This way I can come in with my pen, mark that, and then I can rule the line in. I did this the whole way around the window. I then came in with my tape measure, making sure I measure everywhere on the window. These old houses tend to be unsquare everywhere, so you have to check every single place. So I'm using the Azito 1800 watt double bevel sliding miter saw here. You're better to get the sliding bevel, that way you can get your 45 degrees for your mouldings. I'm going to be using the Ryobi 18 volt Brad nailer here. This is a great tool as it runs on the same battery as the whole Ryobi range. You're trying to get the edge of your moulding exactly on that line that you marked with my license. That way you know you're going to be level. Pretty spot on here, I'd say. Now it's time for our first coat of 4. We're going to do 2 coats of 1-step prep, followed by 2 coats of our paint that we'll be using. So anyone that's renovated a house would know that some mornings you have to wake up early and some nights you have to stay up late in order to get your projects completed in the right times. In the morning of this day it was a beautiful sunset, and that made it a whole lot easier to do all this work before going to work. So the day before I'd just put on some compound. There were some areas where I wasn't really happy with how it was looking. I thought if I wake up early, get this all sanded, go to work, go to sleep tonight, and then that way I can wake up with a fresh start in the morning and not have to worry about dust on the following day. So we have another sunny day. Time to slip slop slap, get sunburn inside. I'm using Taubman's water-based enamel in a semi-gloss, in a gloss white. This project only took me 3 days. That was with working in the middle as well. I was able to get a lot done even on days where I went to work. And this is the finished product.